Well, a hearty shalom to you. Jeffrey Seif here. Pleased that you are tuning in to the Messianic Jewish Family Bible Society. And we're working our way through the Torah, and Parashat Vayikra is what's on the menu this week. First few chapters of Leviticus. Leviticus comes from a Latin word meaning pertaining to the Levites. While in the Old Testament economy, this stuff would particularly pertain to those that were called into the service of the sanctuary, mindful that we're all collectively, in some sense, a royal priesthood and a holy nation. There may be implications and applications for all of us, not just individuals who are called to be priests. My name is Jeffrey Seif, S-E-I-F. My Hebrew name is Yosef Levi, from the tribe of Levi, or so I was told. That was passed on, and I don't know the particulars. But I do know that perhaps like you as well, I've had something of a fascination for the tabernacle and for the sacrificial system. Most of us look at sacrifices through a New Testament lens, and rightly so, and find in all that a picture of the Lord's sacrifice, and rightly we should. There's other implications as well, and I'd like you to just take a few steps into this week's Torah portion with me in chapter 1, verse 1. Of course, I'm reading from the Tree of Life version of the Bible. You always hear me say, if you follow me along, I'm glad for you to read in any version of the Bible, frankly. But of course, I tend to favor this one because this is the work product of the whole Messianic movement. Well, now Adonai called to Moses and spoke to him out of the tent of meeting. Let me just camp there. There was a place that Moses went to, a sacred space set apart for purposes of worship and devotion and the giving of sacrifices. And the Lord met with Moses there and spoke to him from there. I mean, I could just preach for 45 minutes on this. In a world where we have privatized religions and prayer meetings in our homes, and I'm coming to you from my study in my home, nothing replaces a place to go to. In America, we've given up on that in so many ways because we're so privatized, we're so individualized, we don't have a place to go to. And we just keep renegotiating that. Well, I go here and there and here and there. I don't abide that much. Moses had a habit, a discipline of going to the tent of meeting, and the Lord spoke to him there. And he was told, speak to Bnei Israel, the sons of Israel, and tell them, speak to them and tell them, there's a little emphasis there, when any of you brings an offering to the Lord. You know, there were sacrifices that were brought on behalf of the people by the priests. But then individuals themselves would bring an offering, korban. They would bring themselves a gift to the Lord, and the offering would be driven by different circumstances. I mean, what prompts people to give? There's different reasons for it. There's thankfulness for victory here. There's guilt for a sin there. But ways that people want to just come to God and petition him. When inclined to do that, we're told, you may present your offering of livestock from the herd or from the flock. We're told in verse 3, the sacrifice of the burnt offering, we're just looking at this one, from the herd. He is to present a male without blemish. Just want to camp there for a minute. Well, more than a minute. What I want to underscore with you, just from a few steps into Leviticus, is that you bring good stuff. If you can imagine these farmers, I mean, I can't tell the difference between a healthy animal and a not so healthy animal. I don't live and work on a farm, but these guys that live around animals would do it. Later on in Malachi, at the very end of the Christian version of the Older Testament, God jacks them up for bringing blemished, sick animals. In other words, they're going to die anyway. Hey, take it to church and torch it on the Barbie. Just give it to God. It doesn't do me any good. It's somewhere between going, and gone. And God says, listen, why don't you bring that to your governor? Offer it as a gift to your governor. See if he'd be pleased. In antiquity, people, when they petitioned rulers, they would bring a gift. You want to bring some livestock? You bring your sick stuff to him and see what happens. The point is God doesn't want the junk. I should mention as well that when you consider farmers, they had better things to do with their best livestock than kill it. They would naturally want to breed it, thinking that success in life for their enterprise entails getting the best genes into the next generation. Here, handing that over. I mean, it is so counterintuitive at one level. It seems to me that individuals would have some sense through all this that God wants the best. He is the best. He gives the best. And that there is a price to be paid for offending him. And that is that we give our best. We're told, bring it without blemish. He's to offer it at the entrance of the tent so that he may be accepted before the Lord. And we're looking at practices here that are ubiquitous, not just with this burnt offering particularly. He is to lay his hand on the head of the burnt offering so that it will be accepted for him to make an atonement on his behalf. You touch it. You lay your own hands on it. People talk about laying on of hands. The offerer is to identify, and there's a prayer to the effect, Lord, may my sins be imputed to this beast. Of course, this animal had nothing to do with it. It was just there in the barn. And all of a sudden, it gets plucked up by that farmer that needs to take care of some religious business. There's this vicarious nature of it, which comes from a Latin word meaning in place of. The offerer, in his own mind or her own mind, is giving up this animal in place of their own being sacrificed, their own judgment for sins, that wanting it to be imposed on this animal instead, vicariously. It's beautiful when I look at Leviticus. Well, it's gory at one level. A lot of animals died because of this. What's interesting, if you look at Judaism today, it's an elegant religious system replete with sage rabbis, very intelligent, beautiful physical plants oftentimes, gorgeous music and liturgy. But what's missing is the blood, because synagogues are meeting houses for some singing and some praying and some Torah teaching and youth activities and the like. But this activity's interestingly missing from it all. And the whole notion of an animal, the best that you have, being offered up as a sacrifice just doesn't exist in the constellation of Jewish thought processes, because A, individuals are not literate in the literature, and B, there's nothing of the likes of that that's mirrored in Jewish religion as individuals participate in the synagogue. But it is central to the Yeshua story. It's not absent there. The notion of offering up your best as a sacrifice and giving it. That's the whole John 3:16. You know, God so loved the world that he gave his best. And that sacrifice is in place of. You know, and in the church, folks sing about the blood. Well, you know, that must sound bombastic to Jews. There's power in the blood. What's that all about? But it would only sound odd if someone's not literate in biblical literature. You're obviously interested in the literature because you're going with me on a journey to it and through it. Let me encourage you to go your own the next few chapters of Leviticus. Sometimes it's cumbersome reading with all the sacrifices, but you'll get the bloody gist of it. Thank you for going with me and us on the journey. And if you're game to offer a sacrifice, by the way, as a love offering, a gift, certainly the Messianic Jewish Family Bible Society lives off of the caring and sharing of individuals' game to help us tell our story. So blessings to you as you consider all that, and blessings to you just as you read the scriptures. God bless.